Lila wasn't sure why she said yes to the blind date. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was curiosity. Or maybe it was because Mia, her best friend, said, "You need to meet someone who isn't stuck on his phone all day." Tom is different. Different. That word lingered in Lila's mind as she walked into the small cafe. The air smelled like roasted coffee beans, and soft music played in the background. She spotted him right away, a tall guy with messy hair and a nervous smile. He waved awkwardly, and Lila walked over. "Hi, I'm Lila," she said, sliding into the seat across from him. "Tom," he replied, his voice soft. His hands fidgeted with the edge of his menu. They ordered coffee and started talking. At first, it was normal: books, favorite movies, and the weird obsession they both had with pineapple on pizza. Lila started to relax. Maybe Mia was right. Maybe Tom was different, in a good way. But then, Tom's smile faded. His fingers stopped fidgeting. He stared into his cup as if the dark liquid could give him courage. "I need to tell you something," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Lila tilted her head. "Okay," she said, her voice steady, but inside, her heart began to race. "I'm still in love with my ex," Tom confessed, looking up at her. The words hit Lila like a splash of cold water. Why would he say that on a first date? She forced herself to keep a neutral face. "Oh," she said. "That's honest." Tom nodded. "There's more," he said, and Lila's stomach twisted. "I owe her $5,000, he said, his voice cracking slightly. "I borrowed it to start a business, but it failed. And now," he sighed deeply, his shoulders slumping. Lila blinked, trying to process. This is not normal first date conversation. "And," Tom continued, his voice dropping to a whisper, "I'm kind of living in her basement." "What?" The word escaped Lila's mouth before she could stop it. "She doesn't know," Tom added quickly. "She thinks I moved out. But I didn't. I couldn't. I have nowhere else to go." Lila stared at him, her mind racing. This was no ordinary date. This was like something out of a movie, one of those movies where everything spirals out of control. Tom looked down, his eyes glistening with tears. "It's been hard," he said, his voice breaking. And then, to Lila's shock, he started crying. Right there in the cafe. Lila glanced around, feeling the weight of strangers' eyes on them. She handed Tom a napkin, her hands trembling slightly. "I'm sorry," Tom sniffled. "I didn't mean to unload all this. I thought you should know." Lila swallowed hard, her mind screaming for her to leave. But something in Tom's voice, something raw and broken, made her stay. "For now." "Why are you telling me this?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. "Because I can't keep it inside anymore," Tom said, his eyes locking onto hers. "I've been hiding, literally and emotionally, for too long. I needed someone to hear me. And I thought, maybe you could understand." Lila's chest tightened. She didn't know if she wanted to understand. She didn't even know if she could. But before she could decide, Tom leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "There's something else," he said, his words trembling. "Something else?" Lila's pulse quickened. She braced herself. "My ex, she's been hearing noises in the house. At night." He paused, his eyes darting around the cafe like someone might be listening. "She thinks it's rats. But it's me." Lila's heart felt like it stopped. "Tom," she said, her voice shaking, "you need help." Tom nodded slowly, tears streaming down his face. "I know," he whispered. "But I don't know how to get out of this." Lila stood up, her legs unsteady. She needed air. She needed space. "I can't do this," she said, her voice firm. "You need to figure out your life before you drag someone else into it." Tom didn't try to stop her. He just watched as she walked away, his face a mixture of sadness and relief. As Lila stepped outside, the cold air hit her face, and she took a deep breath. She felt a mix of emotions, shock, pity, and a strange sense of freedom. She had escaped something dark, something heavy. And as she walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling that this story wasn't over. Not yet.